Hey, beloved of God, have you subscribed to our channel? If you haven't done so, kindly hit the subscription button over there, hit the post notification, and subscribe so that you get notified anytime we upload a new video. I thank you for always being here. Subscribe, like, leave a comment, and share. God richly bless you. I love you. I greet you, beloved of God. Today is another beautiful Monday, a new week that God has blessed us with. By His mercies, by His grace, by His kindness, we are here. His mercies and His grace He has made to abound for us. I thank you also for always making time to be with me, watching these videos, leaving your comments, sharing, and letting other people also get edified. I really appreciate it, and God richly bless you. This week and today we are reacting to another video I came across of a man who is making a claim, in fact, basing on a scripture in the Bible, and is making a claim. So let's just watch the video and then we will come back and we are going to respond to him.
Jesus Christ never performed a single miracle in the Bible. Not a single miracle. I have never seen it yet. And I read the Bible from cover to cover, different versions, for more than 20 years. I have never seen a single miracle performed by Jesus. Not even one. You know why I say that? Let's ask Jesus if He do the miracle. Where? Book of John, chapter 5, verse 30. Jesus Christ is speaking. He said, I can of my own self do nothing. The way I hear, I judge. Because I'm not seeking my own will, but the will of the Father who sent me. Did He do miracle? He didn't do miracle. He said, I can of my own self do nothing. Whatever I do, it is my Father.
Okay, so we have watched the video, and we will not waste much time. We'll just go straight into it and then react. So this man is quoting John chapter 5 verse number 30, and John 5:30 says, I can do nothing on my own accord. I judge according to what I hear, and my judgment is just, because I do not seek my own will, but the will of the one who sent me. Now these are the words of Jesus. And this man, I'm sorry, I don't know his name, but maybe he may be a sheikh or an imam or a malam or a scholar. But I am a bit also surprised because in his own words, he said he has read the Bible for over 20 years, cover to cover, for 20 years and more. And I'm surprised that as a Muslim as he is, I know that Muslims don't play with commentaries. So when you quote, a Quran verse, they will tell you, have you read the commentary? And they want you to read the commentary because they want you to understand what the verse means, so you don't take the verse out of context. And I'm not sure that for all these 20 or more years he has been studying the Bible as he claims, he has not read the commentary to this verse. I'll be surprised if he hasn't, or maybe he has, but he still wants to take that entrenched, Muslim position that always wants to separate Jesus from God. For us Christians, we don't separate Jesus from God. And so it is going to be very difficult convincing him or making him accept or agree with me. But I'll still make my point anyway, because we have to still proclaim what is true, whether somebody will take it or the person will not take it. So what does John 5:30 means? Surprisingly, the meaning of that verse is in the same chapter 5 that this man claims to have read. So verse 19, what did Jesus say? Verse 19 of John chapter 5. Jesus says, truly I tell you all emphatically, the Son can do nothing on his own accord, but only what he sees the Father doing. What the Father does, the Son does likewise. What the Father does, the Son does likewise. This verse, verse 19, simplifies what Jesus said in verse 30. Basically, they are saying the same thing, but this one explains, gives you the clearest of the detail of what Jesus wants to say. So I am not too sure why the imam or the sheikh or the scholar would want to settle on verse 30 and still want to push, an agenda to claim that Jesus worked no miracle. What does verse 19 mean? Jesus in this verse 19, is saying that, yes, I cannot on my own accord do anything. What does this line, actually mean? This line actually means that I and the Father are one. We are one in nature. We are one in perspective. We are one in the goal and the aim. We are one in pattern. We are one in everything. And so we cannot do anything that is not consistent to what each other is doing or what each other does. We work in harmony such that you can't separate what we are working at. So whatever I see the Father doing, or whatever the Father does, the Son does likewise. I cannot be doing A and my Father is doing B. When my Father is doing A, I am doing A. When I am doing A, my Father is doing A. We do the same things. It is not as if I don't have some power, I'm some vulnerable person somewhere, and then I am depending that God should give me some power to perform, a miracle. No. We are one. I am God with the Father. I and my Father are one. We have the same nature. The same Spirit is operating. And so I see my Father heal the sick. I am also healing the sick. I see my Father raising the dead. I am also raising the dead. We are doing the same thing. I cannot do anything different from what my Father is doing. That is what he meant by I can of my own self do nothing. It means that I can't do anything with my own interest or my own will. We share the same will. We share the same interest. We share the same goal. And so I see my Father creating, and then I also create. Just as the Quran says that Jesus created the bed with clay, and the bed gained life, and the bed flew away. He saw the Father creating, so he also created the bed. If you believe that, then this is what this also means. Again, Jesus says, just as the Father has life in himself, the Son also has life, and the Son gives life to whoever he chooses. They are doing the same thing. God has life, he is giving the life. The Son has life, also giving the life to whoever he chooses to give it to. So if Jesus says, I can of my own self do nothing, he is not saying, I am so powerless and I am so vulnerable and so weak, somebody somewhere. I cannot do anything that is inconsistent with what God does. And God can equally not do anything that is inconsistent with what I do. That is why Bible says that God confirmed everything Jesus said. So Jesus says something and God confirms it with the word. Whatever God did, Christ comes and he confirms it again. So they are doing the same things from left, from right, from left, from right. They are doing the same thing in the same basket, in the same sphere, with the same goal, the same will, and the same nature. If God have said that I can do nothing on my own accord except with the Son, if we could hear him. That's why he said, this is my Son, in whom I am well pleased. It means that even for God to be pleased, there should be Christ. By him, all things were made. In him, all things were made. They don't separate themselves. I and my Father are one. That is why in the book of Revelations, you find that Jesus is sitting on the throne of God. You see him appear here, and he said, because I have conquered, I am sat down with my Father on his throne. Not the physical throne they sit, but they rule by the same authority. They rule by the same might. So if this imam, or this sheikh, or this scholar, with all due respect to him, says that he doesn't understand, I'll be very surprised, because I know he understands. He just wants to play on the minds of those that follow him, and he doesn't want them to think and accept the truth. Jesus performed miracles. God performed miracles. In Jesus and in God. You can't separate them. For us Christians, we don't separate them. Whatever the Father does, the Son does likewise. Why do you think that in the same chapter 5, verse number 17, Jesus will say that my Father has been working up until now, and the Son is also working? Until I see my Father idle, I am not idle. He is working, I am working. If I see him idle, I will also be idle. Whatever I hear him say, I will say it. And so God will say in the book of Isaiah, the Sabbath is for me. Christ will come in Mark chapter 2 and also say that the Sabbath is for me. They claim everything together. I and the Father are one. We don't separate them. So Jesus worked miracles. You can say God did it through him. We can also say that Christ did the miracles in God, because they work together. I can of my own self do nothing. Doesn't mean that I don't have the ability to do. No, I cannot do anything different, because we have a common goal, a common nature, and a common spirit. I would have loved to address this sheikh with all due respect to him, but unfortunately I don't know his name. If anybody knows his name, maybe you can leave the name in the comments, and we will just maybe come again and then address him and give him the respect that is needed or due him. But this is the fact, and the fact must be made clear, that Jesus performed miracles, because he himself has said, whatever he saw the Father doing, he also do likewise. For the fact that he was walking in the streets of Galilee and God was in the spirit doesn't mean they are two different people. They are not two different people. Christ is God manifest, and so they do the same thing as in the being of God. So Christ worked miracles, God worked miracles. He said, whatever I see my Father doing, I do the same thing. And I'm saying that he saw the Father working every day. And so he says that just as the Father works every day, I am also working every day. Whatever he hears the Father say, he says likewise. The Father says, the Sabbath is for me. Christ also comes and says, I am the master of the Sabbath. The Father is raising the dead. Christ comes and he's also raising the dead. Whatever I see my Father do, the Son does likewise. He saw the Father creating. He also created a bed according to the Quran. Whatever I see the Father do, the Son will do likewise. He saw the Father healing the sick. Let me tell you this. While Jesus was walking in the land of Israel, all the miracles that people received, some received miracles without the touch of Jesus, without any encounter of Jesus. People were healed and were blessed without any intervention or encounter with Jesus. Those people, the Father dealt with them. Jesus sees the Father dealing with them. Then he says, okay, if my Father is healing people, if my Father is blessing people, let me also heal people. Let me also bless people. Whatever I see the Father doing, I do likewise. This is what it means. Whatever I see the Father do, I do likewise. And then when I am doing what the Father is doing, what do you think I am trying to communicate to you? Because there are things that only God can do. There are things only God can say. All the things God can do, all the things God can say, Christ has done them and Christ has said it. Sin is committed ultimately to God or against God. And so it is only God that can forgive sin. But Christ says, Son, your sins are forgiven you. I can do nothing except that which is consistent with what my Father does. We do the same thing. And so when my Father is clothed with clouds, I'll also ascend in clouds. That's why he says, I will send my angels. When the Spirit of truth comes, he will not speak of his own accord, but he will take some of the things that are mine. I and the Father are one. Jesus is God. It is difficult to understand. I can understand where you are coming from. But the only thing I can do now, if all the convincing, if all the proof, if all the evidence fail, I can only pray. We can only pray that God will himself appeared to you, just as he appeared to one man in the city of Mecca. Watch this video and let's see. Let's pray that God, Christ, will show himself and save they that are his. Let's watch the video.
This is Ali, and he met Jesus while hanging out at Mecca. Yeah, you heard me. Mecca, the epicenter for the Muslim faith. When he was younger, Ali was a raging alcoholic, and his drinking got so bad that he moved away from his wife and children in Turkey to Saudi Arabia, simply to protect them from himself. While there, some Muslim friends of his talked him into going on Hajj to Mecca, the great pilgrimage to the holiest place in Islam.
So I decided to go, and when I went there, everybody needs to sleep together. And everybody also goes 7 times around the Kaaba. And they were also going to do the namaz. And there I said, well, maybe something good will come of it. And I did the namaz, the ritual prayers also. But I was very ashamed, because I didn't believe in it, and yet I was still doing it. So everybody that night sleeps around the Kaaba. So I slept there. And then, in the night, I had this dream, and in the dream, Jesus came. First, he touched my forehead with his hand, and he said, "You have been saved. You have been saved." Then he opened his hand and placed it on my chest, and he said, "You belong to me." One of them, he said, "You are saved," and then, "You belong to me." And he was smiling. And this is what I wanted to say. This is what he looked like. From his waist up, he was naked and shining pure white. He had a beard, like in the pictures, but a little bit longer. His hair and his beard, it was as if every hair was electrified light, shining from every hair. That's how handsome he was. And when he smiled, his teeth were shining white. And I was amazed at the way he stood there. And the lower part of him was like a cloud of melted iron. And in that cloud, he was taken up. And then a voice from here started to talk. And it was really moving around, in the same way that your mouth moves around when you talk. This voice started from right here. That's how it felt to me. So I woke up my friend, and I said to my friend, "Hey, look, do you hear that voice?" He said, "No." I said, "But I've had this dream. I saw Jesus." He said, "You ate too much food last night. You've gotten sick. Go back to sleep. What business does Jesus have in Muhammad's capital?" So I tried to go back to sleep, but the voice wouldn't let me. It kept talking to me, just like I'm talking to you. And when it was morning time, the friends came over to me, and they said, "Let's continue on the pilgrimage." And the voice was saying, "No, you're not going to go." It wouldn't let me. And the voice was saying to me, "Go and collect all your stuff, and go back to your country. Look for your friends and find them." I didn't understand, but I made up my mind. Okay, I've decided I'm not going to go. I didn't understand it myself. So then I went and took a shower so that I could go back to where I had been. So, in order to take a shower, I got undressed. And I looked in this little mirror, and this part was white. But at that time, my hair, my beard, my mustache, there wasn't a single white hair anywhere. And there was this white everywhere. And so I tried to wipe it off. And when I wiped it, it didn't come off. I wiped it with water and soap, and it still didn't go away. And this voice said to me, "I'm going to show you even more things than this." And then, since I knew it was Jesus, right there in the bathroom, I got down on my knees, because the only thing I knew to worship was to go down on my knees. So I got on my knees, and I said, "Yes, Jesus, whatever you say, I'm gonna do it."
It's been years since this encounter, and his hair is beginning to gray, but to this day, his chest hair is still white where Jesus touched him in his dream.
And so this is what we can possibly do after all the attempts to convince them, to prove to them that Jesus is not who they think he is. If they still doubt and still disbelieve, maybe we just have to pray that Jesus will show himself to them, just as he did to Ali, and then rescue his people back to him, to the glory of his name and for the benefit of the souls of men. I thank you for making time with me today. God willing, I'll come to you again. Bye-bye.